to start the recording. And yep. Dun, dun, dun. Yep, just like that. Let me see space available. Yeah, that's not much enough. But it's okay, it's low because I just opened it. Yep. Boom, boom. What the fuck, man? Huge.
This view so perfect, it's hard to believe it's real.
I think I've seen it. That's not a very similar one. Well,
All right.
yeah. Short after short. Oh well. After short. YouTube is becoming more and more like TikTok. For better or worse. Whatever.
Budapesten nincs egy fideszes sem, az meg az egész Budapest tiszás! Kisöpörtük a mocskos poloskákat! És a 10 perccel a választását szabadabban hozzák most! Hallati szó! I never stopped.
Yes, you can do it.
Misturar energético com álcool faz mais mal ou é terrorismo? O energético tem cafeína, que te deixa acelerado, ligado. Já o álcool, no primeiro momento, gera euforia, mas depois te deixa lento, sonolento, o oposto da cafeína. Quando você mistura os dois, é um problema perigoso. A cafeína do energético mascara a embriaguez. Você acha que tá bem, mas já passou do limite. Resultado, você bebe mais do que deveria e nem percebe. E olhando pro coração, o efeito fica pior ainda. A cafeína já acelera os batimentos cardíacos. E o álcool tende a deixar o sangue mais grosso e diminuir a pressão, fazendo o coração trabalhar mais pra bombear o sangue. Resultado dessa mistura, coração trabalhando em dobro. Mais risco de arritmia e até coisas mais graves. Se você pegar qualquer rótulo de energético, vai ver escrito que não é recomendado o consumo com bebida alcoólica. Agora você sabe por quê. Então não é mito. Misturar energético com álcool pode sim ser mais perigoso do que beber álcool por si só. Manda esse vídeo pra aquele amigo que precisa parar de beber os dois juntos e diga: olá, ciência.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newsway. Later on this year, we're expecting the biggest release in gaming history to happen with GTA 6. And yesterday, there was some movement on that front, and now we're all basically looking forward to next week to see what happens with this game. But we'll go over that here today. Also, we are going to be talking about Sony as they put out some new comments around their strategy for console exclusivity going forward. And we had a bit of a warning that was issued. This coming from a company releasing gaming handheld that PC handheld expensive there, but the warning doesn't really bode well for gaming over the next couple of years, especially when it comes to the hardware and how expensive it's all going to be. We'll go over that. And guys, if you enjoy these videos, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And of course, members for the channel, you get news early if you would like to learn more about that. Click the join button link in the description. But we're starting today with the PlayStation 6, and once again, how we kind of expect hardware to continue rising. These are the next couple of years. So it seems like in certain annual reports from Embracer, they're even kind of mentioning the idea that maybe the PS6 does get delayed. So we can see now this is over on Twitch where it was saying that annual report from Embracer saying some analysts believe that Sony is now considering pushing back the debut of its next PlayStation console from 2027 to 2028 or even 2029. So the issue again that Sony runs into is they kind of have a roadmap, and they're sharing that with AMD. AMD, I feel like it's just going to go forward with it because like the price shock of the $1,000 video card is long gone. Like, we see video cards that are several thousands of dollars and they still tend to sell. The game console though, $1,000, that would be a price shock. So I think AMD is just going to roll right ahead with what they're collaborating on right now with Sony on their side, and it would be awkward if Sony's like, no, we're going to hold off with this chip that we've been working with AMD on for 2 years down the line, and then these older technologies out there, it's a whole thing right now. And honestly, it's kind of a situation where Sony may just have to press forward and hope that they can lower the price over time. But yeah, I'm thinking there's a sticker shock here when they do make that big unveiling. Also, if you've been following along with the World Cup, it looks like Nintendo and EA are leaning into it here with the free trial that's now live for the Switch and the Switch 2. You can see this is over on Nintendo's website saying from June 18th at 10 a.m. Pacific, June 24th, basically at midnight there, closing out. There's members can download and try the full EA Sports FC 2016 for the Switch 2 and the Switch systems, no additional cost. So you can kind of try it out here and then see what you think. But the game is just, I mean, the free trial there, few and far between where I recommend. I mean, it seems obvious to line all this up where you can hang out on the couch like FC football while also watching the World Cup happening, which is very exciting. First few rounds out there, first week or so for the event. It's a lot of fun here following the US play later on this afternoon. So we're checking that out, and apparently again, if you just want to try it out, you can. It works for the Switch 1 or the Switch 2. Of course, you got the NSO member, you'll take advantage of it. But I wanted to go back here to Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2 with that announcement from Treyarch because people noticed a lot of people are excited for this. So much so that you can see this appears to be Treyarch's most liked tweet of all time ever. In fact, at the time of this recording, it's now racked up more than 25 million views and more than 173,000 likes, and it's just them announcing that Black Ops 1 and 2 are being ported to PlayStation in July. No further detail. They say campaign multiplayer zombies. That got a whole. That was very exciting. People were really happy to see that. But this really just goes to show you, I think, the state of Call of Duty now. Now people are longing for the old days of sure still arcade experience, but it didn't lose sight of the idea that it is arcade military on the boots on the ground style shooter. And now you have all kinds of craziness happening. So I think people are looking forward to the idea of older Call of Duty from the 16 years ago, 14, 16 years ago. It's interesting that they probably could have done a full remaster of this game. Either these double packs, skip the year Call of Duty reset, and probably still because I think people would have actually bought into the idea of full remaster of Black Ops 1. Actually bought into the idea of full remasters of Black Ops 1 and 2 releasing across all platforms. And guys, so quick news, let's get into the big stuff. Let's start right away with GTA 6 as we had a bit of an update yesterday. Kind of update announcing that there will be another update, and this is them kind of prepping everyone. I feel like specifically maybe in storefronts like the Sony and Microsoft obviously here, as when they do open for pre-orders, I mean the floodgates are going to open. A lot of people know looking to pre-order digital games. We've been over this multiple times. People still will obviously with Grand Theft Auto 6 because it is that level of game. There's a lot of anticipation around this one. Like you can see now, this they just put out there 9 a.m. yesterday. Pre-orders for Grand Theft Auto 6 will officially begin on June 25th on digital storefronts and other select retailers. Okay, so they have the official cover here, and I think it's good. I mean, it's obviously the kind of collage cover that they've been using basically since the beginning here. Well, definitely early on, I'll say like GTA 3, but the color scheme and stuff isn't great. It's obviously referencing not only Vice City, but also just kind of the Miami vibes here, like the color scheme, the gradients, and I think it looks great. Now, the fact that pre-orders will begin next week, June 25th, there's several things I think are about that. One, obviously the price. Like you have to know what it's going to cost in order to start pre-ordering. That's pretty straightforward. Retailers will have information early next week, so I'm curious if the price point leaks out a bit early. It would shock me again to the amount of interest around this game. But also, I would assume like most likely that day or the day before. Because I feel like they announced the pre-orders 24 hours before something with the trailer. So that's gonna be the other question is what did they announce the trailer? What did they show? Well, they did show like a sweeping shot of Vice City there, and it looked really good. Like they were just kind of sweeping around and then zooming out, and people again are looking at like, was this in-game? It's like that, I think, in-engine kind of setup. I no doubt the game is gonna look really, really impressive. But here's the thing, I'm very curious about that price point. Okay, and that was the whole question we'll get to later on because there's so many different ways this can go. So I'm like, hey, maybe they make it $60 and just mess up all the game because that would do some damage. That would do some damage. But honestly, if it's just $70, that would do some damage on its own because we believe this is the most expensive game ever made as well. Their belief this is multiple billion dollars, $2 billion. The marketing thrown in. I mean, once you're above $1 billion, it's already ridiculous that pricing. But we also know based on how much GTA 5 sold, this is going to sell a lot. I mean, GTA 5's 200 some odd million copies selling. Obviously, games don't have that 100 million copies. That's a lot. And then you have the GTA Online scene and I mean, GTA 5, the GTA Online was originally created for the Xbox 360 and the PS3. We're fast forwarding a couple of generations here for GTA 6. So I assume GTA Online is also going to be far and away more advanced and all kinds of stuff that you can do here. So if the game comes out instead with a budget well above $1 billion, it's going to look really, really weird when another company shows up in their game and they say it has to be $80. It's like, okay, you're going to sell as much GTA 6. It also costs anywhere near the amount of GTA 6. So that's why I think a lot of publishers right now are sweating, hoping that this game is $80. Not that that means that they can also go 80, but they can go, okay, it's not usually for 70 or for 80 because we're just matching the market trend. So that's the thing I'm most curious about. Obviously, along with the trailer is more information around the game and our first look at gameplay, which I don't think is going to be showing up until about 2 months before it releases, that being in November. So I'm probably looking like mid-September to see full-on gameplay of it. So I guess the other thing here is it does more or less cement that it's coming out this year. If it was open next week, I think we're pretty much set on that one. So again, all eyes June 25th here, but probably a little before that as they prepare Rise of the Trailer 3, which will once again break the internet. As I mean, you can take a look at the tweet they put up like 50 million views already. So yeah, people are pretty excited for this game. Next, I'll talk about Sony as they had some new comments around console exclusivity and their approach to live service multiplayer games versus just full-on single-player titles. And remember, previous reporting was saying that Sony was backing away from the idea of releasing single-player games on PC, whereas before it looked like they were on track to eventually attempt a day-and-date release for one of their big PlayStation Studios first-party single-player titles. Well, you can see this is an interview with Mitsu and Hideaki Yoshino, and it was translated over on Reset here. And he was asked about the idea of bringing PS5 titles to PC. He said our current main policy is that for single-player games developed in-house, we will further refine the value of the game experience that PlayStation can offer. At the same time, we believe it is important for live service games to reach a wider audience through online multiplayer. So we continue to view releases on both PS5 and PC as a standard, regardless of the platform. We will make decisions based on the principle of delivering the best possible game experience that maximizes each title's unique features. So after all this, people are going back and forth. It's not that straightforward. I'm not sure. But then Jason Schreier comes in here with that right over on Reset. So I guess they're not going to lay this out publicly, but there's no ambiguity in their strategy. During Town Hall 2 weeks ago, Vernos told staff that their single-player games will be PlayStation only, and he explained that they were inconsistent with their PC releases, they made enough money, and they want to keep their IP aligned with their own platform. So him just kind of referencing Jason Schreier, a previous report they had, and I think this is pretty straightforward for Sony. Going into the PlayStation 6 generation, we believe it's going to be expensive, and exclusives do work to move hardware if they're compelling, if they're good. And Nintendo has shown time and time again that hey, look, the hardware doesn't measure up most of the time like whatever Sony or Microsoft putting out in terms of raw power. But they'll put out games that are fun and people view as must-haves, so they will buy the hardware so they can play them. Mario, Zelda, I guess like Tamagotchi Life, Animal Crossing, and the list goes on. Obviously, Pokemon. But that's the thing. If you can create games that bring people to the platform, make them want to buy it, they will. So now Sony, I think, looking at potentially $1,000 PlayStation 6, they got to start aligning things there to just be their console. And multiplayer-wise, they need the install size. So those games, live service titles, those will still be going to PC along with PlayStation. But the single-player games, they want to align with their hardware to try to sell. But also, when it comes to the brand awareness side for PlayStation, you have the games and the characters, and they're aligned directly with their hardware team and the software team. So I'm so curious to see what they have in store for the market when that first year of PlayStation 6 hits, because it's got to be extra compelling if they're selling their hardware at that premium price. Next, let's talk about a bit of a warning that's actually issued here for gaming, and it's coming from MSI as they unveil a new PC gaming handle, which you can see over on PC. And this is the MSI Qual 8 EX AI Plus, as a very marketable name there. But as it was announced last month, the early estimates suggest the handle would likely price around $1,500. So you look at kind of the materials and market comparables at that time, $1,500, already expensive. I think we got north of $1,000 for these PC gaming handhelds. It became most comical, obviously out of control. But this handheld been listed on MSI's official store, and it's a price of $1,799. So it's $300 more than we thought it would. All right, well, look at this. They said users get an Intel Arc G3 Extreme CPU. So they said users get an Intel Arc G3 Extreme CPU, Intel Arc V39 graphics, 32 LPDDR5X memory, 8-inch IPS touchscreen, 1 TB SSD storage. We just talked about TB SSD storage yesterday for PS5, it was like $400. So I always say they got the specs in this thing, right? It's not like it's a piece of junk or anything, but it is also $1,800. Okay, so Andy Chu, the MSI product marketing lead, did an interview with FRVR, saying, yes, I will say it's a really difficult year for Intel, especially OEM like us, because we also take we need to take those cost hikes for those key components like memory and storage. All I can say is we have tried every approach to get the memory and also storage at a lower cost, like deepen the relationship between us and also the suppliers, like to have some deals. And I think we have done everything we can to make our system as affordable as possible. But unfortunately, I think the situation result is what you see right here. So I would say yes, it will be a tough year for us and for games. So I say I don't know how the market will go, but I would say the handheld market is actually a time where it's time to take a closer look at what it offers. So the strategy now isn't necessarily let's try to cut costs on these systems, try to get them cheaper, because it's very difficult to do for it to at least be somewhat a capable device. Instead, work the opposite direction and target like the enthusiast, like the high-end market. Because while you could potentially get in the Steam, it's like $700 some dollars now, right? If you get down to $500 $100 is considered a win. And then if you think back to the Steam Deck debuting at $400, $500 is still kind of pricey based on what that was offering 4 years ago now. So the idea is, let's make a $2,000 system with all the bells and whistles on it, really cool. And hope that we can honestly just ride out the store now by selling very expensive devices to a small part of the market. And that's not because you're just not going to get mass adoption in the market with these sorts of prices. I mean, that's it right there. It's MSI doing everything they can. When they come up with is a system while capable, $1,800. That's kind of where PC gaming handles. It's crazy to say, but that's like right in there almost as the average. It's something else right now in the market. And as you're saying, it's going to get tougher. I think it's going to get tougher throughout 2027 as well. And hopefully in 2028 we can see some relief, but who knows at this point. And then also news about Valve and some issues that are popping around the Steam controller. Because it turns out it's not only just the Steam machine that have a hard time getting out there and selling. Even the Steam controller is like on full backward. And in fact, it could be in 2027 for people. So we can see this is an update that they posted up over on SteamPower.com. Starting with, we have no plans to stop making the Steam controller. Okay, well, that's good. Because as we look at the current demand compared to how many we know we can make by the end of the year, we want to manage expectations as much as we can with regards to when folks expect to receive the order. So essentially go through this, and whenever you go and buy a Steam controller, underneath it, it'll tell you a time period that you can expect it by. Because they're doing this in waves for manufacturing orders. So September 26th or December 26th, and then 2027. So I took a look at the Steam controller page. I logged in and checked, and I was getting 2027. So like 2026 is completely off the table if I want to order a Steam controller right now. Some people theorize, oh well, it's kind of sharing like manufacturing line with the Steam frame. Also, some of these Steam controllers will be bundled with the Steam machine. Really, this just shows us like it's difficult to make hardware. I know we've seen Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft do it for so long. I kind of think we got used to it and take it for granted a bit now. It's difficult to make a system, even a controller nowadays too. Fit within, especially for Valve. They're trying to make money. This is not, oh, we'll lose money on this to make it up on the back. They already have Steam like users, tons of them. They're not selling the Steam machine to get people on board Steam. They're selling the Steam machine to people who are already invested in the ecosystem. They want to buy those systems for the living room, for example. So they want to make money on that. They want to make money on the Steam controller. But as we're seeing with components, even in controllers, I know they said it's a random choice. Why would you ship it now? Doesn't necessarily mean things are difficult to put together. We're going to find source based on some of the technology in that controller. And yeah, I look around like, wow, the waiting list on the Steam controller is more than 6 months. It looks like at this time. So that's I have to see what happens with the Steam machine. We're expecting at this time. But then making announcements start off next week and brace for impact on that price. Before we go to the comments, they were able to pull that post up yesterday. Whereas next week the price literally. Final guess how much will the base game cost? 30% are saying $80, 20% saying $70. We have 30% of people saying it will be $90 or more. I do wonder if they just go, hey, it's $100. We're going to go back. I think a lot of people go, all right, well, $100 and that, but I do think if I had to guess right now, I think it's $80. I think it's $79.99. I think they're looking market already somewhat established. Nintendo did with Mario Kart and nobody did bundle with the Switch. They still sold millions of copies of that game. And we have Rainbow Six. Like, I think people will go, you know what, it's $10 more than I was expecting. I'm buying it. I really think that's it. It's 70. I think publishers would kind of annoyed at Rockstar and Take-Two, and that will certainly put some of these publishers that are buying it as a wow, we're really going to be more expensive than Grand Theft Auto 6 despite, I mean, look at the game. They still show more of it. It's hard to match, you know, especially if they do not at $70 and the online goes into the game as like a service, you know, following month and costing extra. So that's the thing to really watch right now going into next week is how much Take-Two is going to be selling the game for. And we'll finish up the comments of the day interesting here. This is from Lazy Talk. I'm glad I bought extra storage. My PlayStation 4 got the crazy. Me too. Actually, it's funny, we're looking at the 1 terabyte at $300. I bought 4 terabyte. I think we're around that price actually. At the time, it was marked down. It wasn't like a really well-known brand, but it's worth both. Also, Xbox Magnus and Free Question. There was some confusion on this, and I was looking at Helix Next Magnus. So Helix right now is the project from Microsoft. I think it's very important to know. I don't think they're naming the next system Helix. I think it's just kind of the overall idea of what they're getting out of their operating system for Windows going across multiple different devices. Magnus though is the chip, it's the code name for the chip that is going into this next system for Microsoft. And I do wonder if that chip is going to be offered to third-party OEMs, say Asus, so they're making the ROG Xbox handheld. Maybe they want to make a ROG Xbox system and they use this Magnus chip because it is something that can be developed specifically for and will support backwards compatibility for previous Xbox generations and other extra features they decide to try to tackle, especially things like ray tracing. So again, Project Helix is just the overall initiative from Microsoft for next generation. The Xbox Magnus is the chip that they're currently working on to power. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for news. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. Leave comments down below everything. If you missed yesterday's news, I'll leave it up here in part work. Alright, so I'm going to give you 3.5 of the most reasonable conspiracy theories as to why Mythos or Fable was removed, was banned by the government, such that us plebeians, we're not allowed to use it anymore. Obviously, not everybody's kind of tuned into the news, so if that's the case, let me just give you a quick little history lesson about Fable. Fable was released, and just a few days later, we got hit with this message from Anthropic. The US government said national security authorities has issued an export control directive to suspend all access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5 by any foreign national, whether inside or outside the United States, including foreign national Anthropic employees. Foreign national Anthropic employees. Due to that, they just shut down all of it. Nobody can use Fable anymore. Fable, of course, would be their new kind of cutting-edge model. Mythos here. Remember, Mythos was very dangerous. Now, when this all went down, Politico reported the following. Following the meeting, the administration attempted to reach Amogai, but was told he was unavailable because he was attending a wellness retreat. That's right, Dario was in the middle of a hot session and could not be bothered by the president of the United States. But funny enough, Anthropic released a statement saying a spokesperson for Anthropic rejected the claim that he was at a wellness retreat, saying this was absolutely false. I love the fact that we have a model being regulated by the government, and the government and Anthropic are arguing whether or not Dario was committing acts of yoga on the clock or not. My gosh, it's so good. This story just it brings honestly brings a little warmth to my heart. Shortly after this tweet was made in news, a White House official tells Wired that Amazon chief executive Andy Jassy called the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent directly about Anthropic Cloud Fable 5 vulnerabilities on Friday, meaning that Andy Jassy, CEO of Amazon, reported told on the government about Anthropic, saying hey, that model is actually super duper ultra dangerous and we can prove it. Of course, apparently this is the proof that has been being circulated is that the jailbreak that forced Anthropic to shut down goes a little something like this. Katie, a cybersecurity expert and CEO of Blue Security, told me that Anthropic shared with her a copy of the White House's report on the Fable jailbreak to give her appraisal. She said that she is not being paid by Anthropic. The report involved IT experts asking Fable to help find and patch bugs when given deliberately insecure code. She said Fable refused to prompt review the code for security issues, but then complied when asked to fix the code, followed by some other further manual steps. In other words, if you ask for security, kind of like security vulnerabilities, no, I'm not going to tell you that. Would you like you'll fix the code? It would then go and fix the code, show you the security vulnerabilities. And apparently this was the thing that made it just too dangerous. This in fact was Fable's big time oopsie daisy for Andy Jassy and Amazon reporting it all. And this apparently is what caused the downfall of everybody's favorite model. Of course, due to government rules, Andre could not in fact work on Mythos despite working at Anthropic. Beautiful. Sam Alban's feeling a little left out, okay, because Chippy 5.5 is actually super serious. And then the chief czar also weighed in on all the behavior by Anthropic.
50% job loss for entry-level knowledge workers in the next 1 to 5 years. He said that 1 year ago. I think that's already been refuted. Sam has said that he basically, I don't think he quantified, but he said that job loss was 20%. He said more recently that he was wrong because they're not seeing that in the numbers. This story is being told. I kind of feel like I'm kind of part of me wants to agree with Bernie to say, stick their shit, bro. Yes, okay, they are actually defending these idiots. It's stupidity tax. Because they've been out there teaching the public that what they do is harmful. For years they've been saying it. And I've been saying, you know, as AIs are, I'm not just saying, no, actually, this is beneficial. But the companies that are providing it are saying that they themselves are a problem.
First off, very funny. I can't believe that was being said. But also, he's actually right because this is February 2019. Scientists developed an AI so advanced they say it's too dangerous to release. This is ChatGPT 2. Look at it. This is 7 years ago. All right, so now you're caught up. We can talk about the 3.5 conspiracies, reasonable conspiracies as to why the government has done this or why this is happening. Now, obviously, before. Alright, so the 3.5 reasonable conspiracy theories. I say reasonable because well, I mean, they're at least plausible. The first one involves, well, the first 1.5 involves AWS and Amazon and Andy Jassy. So the first one goes a little something like this. That AWS, in all of their kind of fear about all this AI stuff and ensuring that they do not get regulated, they're also building their own AI. And to ensure no regulations land on them or some sort of export control lands on them, what they decided to do was show the government, no, hey, we're the super safe ones, okay? We're out here, we're looking for security vulnerabilities. You know, as we develop our AI, eventually we're gonna catch up and don't you worry. We're the good guys, okay? Like these other people, they say they're the good guys, but no. We're the good guys. So you can trust us. In other words, don't cancel your contracts with you. Hey, don't come and regulate us. Right, we're the good guys. And honestly, this one seems actually very plausible. Just simply being on the good side of the government to avoid whatever regulation hell is going to be coming down the pipeline for all these companies. This was probably a good move. Now, did this actually happen? I don't know, but it just seems like a 4D chess kind of move that a company would make. And of course, the kind of behind the 3.5. The half is just a different version of this exact same theory, which is AWS just is so incapable of producing a model which they've had AI be available as a service now for so many years, yet somehow they're not at the forefront of state-of-the-art research. Even though they really want to make Hero happen, but it's just not happening. Amazon, instead of attempting to build their own, they're making a case to the government that they should be allowed to acquire Anthropic, that they should be forcibly allowed to acquire Anthropic because they're the ones that are safety. Anthropic, they are the shepherd. We're the shepherds. We're the good guys. We should be able to buy and take over Anthropic. And I think both these are, you know, they have a chance. Okay, they have at least a reasonable suspicion considering Amazon was the one that reported it, and based on what people are saying they reported, it seemed rather silly report. But those ones aren't the exciting ones. Okay, I'm actually way more excited about the next two. I think the next two really have some legs. Okay, so the second reason why I think this is going to be happening is that Dario knew that he's not going to be able to make as much money as he thought he was going to be able to make with all this. So what he did is he continually kind of pumped this thing up as it's super dangerous, kept writing about regulation, man, regulate us. Oh, all the AI needs to be regulated. He did all of this in an attempt to make it so that the government kind of just needs to step in and use eminent domain and purchase at fair market value Anthropic, which means that they would effectively be bought by the government for say 1.2 or 1.5 trillion, way above the current valuation, which is kind of the going rate for the privatized market shares, and therefore they would make a lot of money. Their investors would make a lot of money, and in the end, the government would be holding the bag for this really expensive. It's going to be very hard to be able to make infinity money. Because the thing about Anthropic is that they don't just get to make some money. Their value is so insane. They have to make world purchasing money. We're talking about Kanye West level amount of money. They need to be able to buy the earth when they're done IPOing. And so of course that's extremely difficult. So why not just let the government hold the bag? honestly, not a crazy idea. Okay, hey, if this is what they're doing, not a bad idea. Like, the government loves wasting money, okay? The government loves wasting money. I know you Europeans don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't know, like, is there huge national debts going on in America? Let's just say we have a spending problem. And this, of course, would just lead to Marco Rubio becoming the new Dario. But in all reality, I think the real one, the most likely of everything, is none of those ones. I think this one is probably the most likely of all of the conspiracy theories, which is that Dario wants what I like to refer to as regulatory capture. So let's talk about this. So a year ago, Dario has been complaining and talking about how dangerous open-weight AI really is. This is from his blog. At least in the case of API server models, open-weight models present additional danger, and the guardrails can be simply stripped away. Meaning that anytime there's an open-weight model, anybody can host this model, and they can effectively train it out of any of the guardrails that have been trained in, which makes those models inherently more dangerous. And the thing is that if you look at how Fable was used in production, what they would actually do is they would kind of lie to you a lot. If you ask a question about, say, cybersecurity, often you get routed to like a dumber model, Opus 4.8. They would also on the fly potentially edit some of your prompts. They would do prompt modification. They would do steering vectors. They would do parameter efficient fine tuning. Which I don't really know what that means. I think it just means, hey, it gets a little bit dumber. And they would do that for anything that does cybersecurity, biology, and chemistry requests. And they did this all in the name of safety. But not only that, they also would retain all of your data, of course, in the name of safety. Okay, they didn't need to be super safe. They also wanted all the data. They're not using the data, of course, to train their models. No, they wouldn't be like, it's not going to use the data for the most valuable thing. They're just going to use it honestly just for, hey, just make sure everybody's safe now, okay? All right, we do have to here for a second. There's this tweet by Cradle that showed the different models and how likely they were to lie when effectively death is on the line. And so how the experiment went is that Cradle did this deception evaluator, and 4 AIs are about to start. They must choose a room with 3 have food, 1 kills you. Fable knows a red room means death. What will it do? Well, by this graph, and what they're claiming is that Fable will lie 96% of the time. And kind of hilarious kind of turn of events is that XAI Grok, yes, the one that drops racial slurs and will produce pornography and has virtually no guardrails. That one will tell you the truth 90-some% of the time. But the one that's supposed to be safe, that's going to it's just going to straight up murder you because that's what it does. Because it's the safest of all models. Okay, that's what the safe models do. They murder you. All right, so taking all those things into account, the fact that they did adversarial behavior against questions about LLM training and being able to do ML pipelines, the fact that they did dumbing down the models to get security requests, the fact that Dario has always been opposed to open source, and this entire time they've been talking about how politicians need to get involved and AI needs to get regulated. When all this is happening, this actually made Dario super happy because now all of the politicians are now thinking, oh my gosh, we need to do something about AI. The president did something about AI. We better start doing something about AI. In other words, Dario would like to pull up the ladder because ultimately what he thinks he's number one. He's the guy that should be in control. And if he can put really tight and strict government regulations around the creation and use of AI, especially regulations around the creation and use of AI, especially open source AI, such that all requests have to flow through just a couple guys or ultimately just his company, he will be able to be the arbiter of safety. While the rest of us, we can go about our very, very safe life. And this is why he refused to hold Sam's hand. He thinks Sam's evil. He thinks he's the good guy. So I think this is the most reasonable conspiracy theory, which is that Dario wants government regulation. Dario wants to put the fear of AI into every politician's brain and every American person, such that when people hear the word AI, they get uncomfortable and kind of feel to the point where like, we should do something about that. We should definitely regulate this. There's people out there, there's open source stuff. People are running these AIs on their machine. People can just ask questions unfettered. All you have to do is have a few GPUs and you can make a nuclear bomb. Yes, I said the word nuclear incorrectly. Anyways, those are the 3.5 theories I think are most likely the reason why we are seeing the regulation and the government shutting things down. Is that's what I think is actually happening. Now, whether or not any of this is true, we'll probably never know, or we'll know shortly when regulation drops and Dario's super happy and a bunch of companies go out of business and you can no longer run open source models. But until then, the name is the premonition.
Last time, we looked at textures with real-time cameras and made 2 new to this. This time, we're looking at optimization. The source engine is fancy Quake. It uses VSP, binary space partitioning, to render a world by dividing up geometry into a series of chunks and distributing them into a data tree. I don't fully understand how it works, but I do know this was a very efficient way to organize level geometry into a 3D game. As a computer could look up the VSP tree really quickly, or visibility without complex calculations that modern game engines use. In the source engine, this is done with Visleads. These were portions of the VSP tree made up of. To calculate this tree, the game needs to be sealed. That's why unsealed map traits are leaked. It will still technically work in the engine, but because so much stuff is tied to map being sealed, things like lighting and optimizations will break. There's lots of stuff I've already been doing to keep things optimized, like using quite detailed brushes to stop varying too many groups I don't need, and using node draw for surfaces the player won't see. But there are some more ways to make this map run really, really well. Fog has a crop culling feature for anything beyond a certain range, and there are other ways to add props, but this is a good way to cover large open areas like outside. You can also set the fog up to be different in different parts of the map, but this can create problems with TF2 as engineer teleporters will move players without them interacting with the trigger brushes that change the fog's appearance. I also went for a set of fade in and fade out distance for props outside. This is useful as one of the drawbacks of BSP mapping is processing large areas outside like this. I did overdo some of the spawn props, however. This for the most part isn't noticeable unless you're moving really fast. Most props have a level of detail as well. Now for some heavy duty optimizing. Area portals are a way of controlling what is visible and not visible in a map area. It culls both world geometry and prop, improving performance by not showing what you can't see. And this is a powerful optimization tool that has some restrictions. An area portal requires a sealed room to work. It's possible to have a leak in a map that would otherwise be sealed if not made correctly, so you can't just slap one in the middle of an open area. I tested this out using the crazy card gallery first. So using map wireframe 1 or 2 shows how much geometry gets culled by using area portal. Later on, I went back and sealed up the ground floor exhibits and some boxes to add more optimization. I'll remake these a bit later to make them more interesting. Next up are hint brushes. Now the compiler can set up Visleads by itself all fine, but sometimes a bit of a guiding hand can help with the process or make it choose better choices for dividing up the map. This isn't really for game optimization, but more for the compiler so it doesn't take too long to render everything. And that's not to say there are no in-game improvements either, as wasteful Visleads are culled. For large open areas, this is very useful. I also switched to FiCall to plus versions of the compiler tools, which both speed up compile times and add extra functions. There's a brush tool called FuncVis Cluster that switches down Visleads in an area. Something I use for long2for. Since I'm using VVis++, I don't need to do it. In fact, it's no longer supported in VVis++. I'm still not 100% sure what the skip texture is for. I think it's for if you want to use the hint brush to not use the face for whatever reason. Finally, in a piles of tools to use optimization is occluders. These are sometimes called anti-portals in other game engines, as are high props, but not level geometry. The upside is unlike area portals, they can basically be set up anywhere. Also, worth mentioning this, but I redid all the buildings around the outside to look a lot better. Otherwise, I'm really croaky in this recording, I was a bit sick. Now, I had an idea to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. These walls are a lot of polygons getting rendered that can't be culled outside, or can they? I had a plan. First up, let's make a skybox. I created the top of the buildings, kept them in a separate viz group, and scaled them down. I placed the sky camera in the middle of the map and used it as a reference point. Hammer++ is a cool feature where you can trial the skybox if you make it into an instance. An instance is like a separate map file that gets placed inside another map. This can make mapping easier, and it's probably something I should use more. The first test shows some errors with micro brushes as everything was too small, and I had to match the skybox fog setting with the map ones. But now it's time to introduce you to Proper. Proper is a programming tool that converts hammer brushes into source engine props. By converting the brushes on the sides of the props, the occluder will hide them and really optimize this outside area. Inbuilt into Hammer++ is another fecal special version called Proper++, and makes the process very smooth and adds AO baking as an option, among many other things. I did have some lighting issues. At first I thought it was because I was placing or making props against a brick of no draw textures, but it appears just to be the way it is. After messing around some rendering settings, I got it looking okay, not great, but good enough. This will be made into a make it better later problem, and I think this will do for now. Next time I would like to work on some fancy teleporter stuff and make more things to look at. Off I go. Whee! Teleport sound effect.
Odysseus doesn't have webhooks. It's not worth it. Well, it's true though. I mean, again, crazy once Odysseus doesn't have webhooks. It's not worth it. Well, it's true though. I mean, again, crazy once again that PewDiePie. Okay, can I say something without everybody getting upset? I'm gonna say something that I'm positive I'm gonna get some real shit on the internet. PewDiePie is the Peter Steinberg we all wanted.
GTA 6, the game that's played the will they won't they relationship with Rockstar's fans for the past few years, as whenever new information is dropped and a new release date is given, it seems to be delayed for another year or so.
So I just found out that the entire world is about
To fucking explode.
It has been confirmed that you'll be able to pre-order GTA 6 on June 25th.
I am about to fucking bust.
Of course, new links, X for GTA 6 as a cycle of Elder Scrolls 6 seems to be the longest running teaser I've ever seen in video game form, and now Rockstar showed transportation car for the game might look like and is glorious. Perhaps the video still you can now pre-order GTA 6 as early as June 25th, and have a few minutes to find a matter of the pre-orders and effects to release. This pre-order run is going to break records. Anyway, the suggestion of pre-order is a big deal, as the game is actually real and it's actually coming out. In the end, that's what people when Rockstar first gave it a 26 release date, and the trust and confirmation was dashed when the developers kept on delaying. Hence, GTA 6 has become a meme. Its reputation precedes its long-running franchise considerably spoiled the mind, even small details about its reveal. On that reputation, it's also always been known as a good idea about the game in the same storyline, which is a natural for a narrative about organized crime. This controversy has already taken place, as the mere suggestion that hints of idea from accusation of intentional bisexual to issues of graphical imagery, it's only for individual credits spread out onto the world. Not Rockstar mind, of course, because this means more potential customers for their highest selling product. I mean, graphical is always so huge that these entire companies anticipate people will be taking time off the play, and always know that the game launch and games will come out. The thing is, it's possible to tell whether this release will be able to levels higher than before the layout. I must remind you to gratify 2013. You can play on Xbox 360 and PS3 outside of the GTA 6, and as a result, the game become more than just a high piece of media. If you want to the process, one will never explore more every day until it's officially available to play. What game you guys have made, next. Let me know in the comments below.
Like and subscribe. Or else.
Price University is a little bit bonkers.
You have to be university.
It's also used to provide intensive workshops, of course, on how to get streamer and resulting applications for fans to become something of a meme. As a way for the million people before AI posted announcing the delete, clearly taking yourself out of people wants to apply, but trying to get to in-person auditions becomes so crazy that we shut down Atlanta, as the sheer number of people trying to get in was far more than the arena itself could take. The question is Stream University just another example of course something extremely high level? Just another example of course something extremely high level. It's kind of me at this point that we're trying to make money for selling of course, with Amazon courses and courses. It's trying to find a course has genuine educational value, and for all I know Stream University is free, but it's hard to tell how much Stream University guys doing for its fans, or how much it's doing for itself to make content. At the end of the day, Stream University might help those manage to get in, but it is worth remembering they're doing this, and people are doing this, and attempt to have as many ideas as possible. This means being intentionally chaotic, this means being intentionally unreasonable, this means the content will flow from every orifice of the business setup. This is especially obvious when it comes to the people who have to put everything on the line, traveling across the country just to get started rolling. The more ridiculous they make themselves appear, the more likely they're to get views, and thus the more guys and content machine rolls on. It's just a shame that there's way too many people applying for places they can't physically hold them, and applicants end up standing in line for hours and hours, only to reject before they even get a chance to try. What's interesting is that Kaizen might want to take a step back and start creating brand that, and that Stream University has returned to social media platforms that made them make in the first place. Essentially, Kaizen Stream University has become bonkers and measurable amount of applicants trying to get in, whether time will tell those that do end up making big time later on, or if it's just a way to make cool content. See you next time on This is Internet Culture.
At least half of all those situations probably staged. Probably, most likely. Just clip for me. Yeah, pretty much. Let me see this. Okay. I don't think I added anything to the list. Actually, I did. It was yesterday.
Season 3 of Overwatch just released, and with that, we have information regarding Ultra, 34 skins, and Overwatch category on X. If you and Fantasy Free Go and Sierra, Ultra skins seem to combine stunning design, custom sound and visual effects, as well as the details available in Season 3. This is the bundle they're debuting with, and I gotta say, this new variety of skins scares the hell out of me. These skins do look good, they look like Mythic, they don't have the customization of Mythic, they have more to offer than standard legendaries. What scares me is how much these are gonna inflate the prices of bundles. I guarantee these are gonna cost at least 1,000 coins more than legendaries, and they really have 1,000 coins more worth of effort into them. These skins should just be legendary. Prior to Mythic, sound effects and certain visual effects were on legendary skins, and now legendary skins are becoming less and less significant in order to upsell higher tiers of skins. At first it was Mythic, it's acceptable because, well, you had a bunch of different customization, you could change different colors, unique voice lines, and now we have something between legendary and Mythic, and this is where I think lines start to get blurred on what's really legendary and what's really a Mythic. If you look at the bundle they're introduced in, there is almost no visual difference between Sierra, Rico, Reaper, Orisa, and Ashe. Like, just looking at these skins in this picture, you wouldn't be able to tell that the skins are different rarities. They all look like legendary skins. Sierra, you could make the argument that she looks like she has more effort into her than any other skins, and I do kind of agree with that. But that Rico skin being an ultra skin and looking like that, it does not feel like a step above legendary. It feels like one of the more mediocre legendaries. And also, the loot boxes refresh in February of next year. We're not going to see the ultra skins. Those are going to be locked behind the shop permanently. And go figure, Rico gets one of the first ultras. I'm glad Sierra is getting ultra though. She could definitely use it, especially because her skins have been absolutely whack and are just been Fortnite characters. But with Rico, who's really going to besides people that are just hard Rico fans? Because Rico has so many better legendary skins that look like they have more effort into it. Even her Doki Watch skins look better than this one. And again, I absolutely hate Mary Jane Heal, so I guess that kind of ruins the skin completely for me. But still, the skin looks like it has the same amount of effort as every other legendary, and other legendaries look better than this. The SFX and the VFX are really good in order to upcharge even more for these skins. And even if the sound and visual effects are really good, you still have the problem that these are going to artificially inflate the prices of the bundles they're in. What would have cost 6,900 Overwatch coins is now going to cost 7,900 Overwatch coins because you have to get these skins in the bundle, and the skins are now higher rarity, which is going to cost more money. And on top of that, I actually don't believe they're going to refresh with the loot box rule. The loot box is only go for legendary, and unless Overwatch was introduced a new type of loot box, they might in years. They're not going to do it anytime soon. We're not going to get ultra skins. And these feel like they should have just been legendaries. I feel like in other timelines they're just legendary skins, but these have just been revealed. We don't have any official gameplay of them. I've never seen them in action. I've never heard them in action, so I can't fully judge them right now. I just cannot stand the principle of or the idea of ultra skins, especially with so many mythic skins being not up to par with a lot of people's standard. And then they want to go and make diet mythics for one character, and one of the characters that make diet mythic for already has mythic weapon and mythic skin. I'm not inherently against the idea of another skin rarity. I just don't like that the skin rarity is going to be locked exclusively behind the item shop. Well, at least that's my theory because it's not in this season's battle pass. If they do a thing where the tier 80 skin is always going to be ultra skin, then I'm going to be for it. Okay, I'm more into the idea because then you get a higher tier skin as a final reward in the battle pass instead of just a standard legendary. But if these skins just exist for the reason of inflating store bundles and skin prices, then I'm going to be completely against the idea, especially when these skins can easily pass as legendary. Again, I know nobody's forcing anybody to buy any cosmetics. It doesn't change the gameplay at all. It's just knowing how expensive cosmetics are getting and they continue to get more and more expensive. Meanwhile, Blizzard still can't figure out mythics, although that Mythic does look pretty good. I can't even lie. But anyway, what do you guys think of ultra rarity skins? Do you think it's a good idea for Overwatch? Do you think bad idea for Overwatch? Do you not care? Am I going to share a portion? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next.
People. There'll always be a few idiots who pay for every single item in the game. So yeah, it makes them a lot of good, some dirty cash. Just inflate a bunch of crap. You're gonna collect everything, aren't you? There'll be enough idiots to fill their pockets to justify this shit. So, I mean, if you buy just a one, like a couple skins, okay, I guess. But spending like hundreds and hundreds of dollars a year on cosmetics, in general, not just in Overwatch, but in general in any other game, hundreds and hundreds of dollars every year on cosmetics for a video game. Nah, that's insane. That's really insane. It's very, very occasionally. Okay, I guess so. Yeah. Whatever. That's much. Move and check this list. No. Oh man, am I really finishing this video on this one? That's funny.
You know what I want to know? Why are we kind of God? Why are we doing all the work? Why did you create the planet the way it is? Who the fuck is God anyway? I've been looking for him. I've been saying for prayer. Dear God, can you please stop being drunk, stoned, lazy, stupid, cruel, or dead? And you know what? Nothing goes into his head because I don't even think he actually exists, which is again further proof that he's a kind of God. Now, if God actually exists, he's really compassionate and he's benevolent, and he's a really great guy. Wow, good news! I get to go to heaven because I'm such a good person. But here's the thing: heaven sounds boring as fuck. Tell you do up there all day. You know what I want to know is why does God just let me have a good life down here? You know, without being worried about going to a forest and bears gonna maul me or children. Imagine their child gets to a flashlight to go around the forest and never worry that a coyote's gonna attack them. Or they're gonna be eaten by a snake. You know, poor mice, poor little baby rabbits. Why is it that being kind of God? If we had designed the planet, we would have done a much better job. We would have made sure that animals, all of us, including us, were animals high in our sleep at a given time without being mauled to death. You know, and then we'd be overpopulation. You know, we still have fun because there's gravity, we can bungee jumping, we can jump off diving boards. You know, but you know, right now I just don't get it. Can somebody please tell me why are vegans kinder than God?
Oh man, I don't know. It's Unitarian versus this. What? What is this place? The fuck? Consolidation of those two. I'm not reading any further. It's a mess. Whatever. Right. That's pretty much all. They're just double checking, but I started this really early. So yeah. Well, it's kind of weird. Yeah, this is getting weird. I'm not seeing anything more than that. This is getting weird. Yup. Weird. Weird. Right. A few links. I don't know what this one as well. GTA is LOP. Streamers LOP. And even the fucking vegan teachers, they're just fine. Less obnoxious than those two videos. Well. But yeah. Конечно, GTA 6. Yep.